Hey guys, it's Rhea and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I know for a lot of us college students, university is going to be starting soon, and thanks to COVID, a lot of our classes are online. And as a sophomore now, I have been through quite a few online classes, so I thought I could give you guys some tips or some lessons that I learned from them, and hopefully these can help you guys with your online classes or online school. So let's get on with the video. So I have divided my tips into three parts, which are academic, social, and personal. And I'll make sure to leave timestamps down below for each of these. But without any further ado, let's get started with academic tips. So the first tip I would give you is kind of a more general tip, but it is that you need to choose the learning style that works for you. Now, for a lot of people, they prefer writing their notes and they like seeing text. A lot of people prefer images, videos. A lot of people like listening to their lessons. I personally prefer making notes and going through those because then I have one place where I have everything that I've learned from the course. But that's just my preference. You guys should make sure you all know what works for you, and that way it would be a lot easier for you to get through the course because it would be a lot more adapted to your learning style. The next tip is in regards to course selection. An important thing that I learned from me and my friends is that you need to choose classes that work according to your time difference. Although in university, when you were actually there, you would have preferred to take classes that were in the afternoon or a little later. Right now, it would benefit you to take classes that are, let's say, at 9 a.m. in the morning. So for me, last semester, I chose to have a lot of my classes in the morning mostly, and this made it a lot easier for me to just stick to Indian time instead of having to switch to Boston time. So I would definitely recommend you guys checking out all of the sections that your courses have and choosing the one that works best for you. Another tip I would give you in terms of course selection is to choose courses that wouldn't be difficult to do online. And let me explain that a little bit more. So for example, for my courses, I have taken public speaking this fall, and this was before I knew I would be taking fall classes online. Now the issue with this is that even though my class is synchronous, the issue is that with a class like public speaking, it's a lot easier when you're actually in front of people physically. Whereas for me personally, with doing it online, I'm constantly gonna be worried about, oh, is my internet good enough? Or can everyone hear me? Stuff like that, and that just makes it a little more difficult. So I would definitely tell you to choose classes that would work well with online school and that you wouldn't mind taking online. Another thing I would tell you is that if you have the option between attending a class asynchronously or synchronously, I would definitely recommend attending a class synchronously. Now, obviously, if time difference doesn't allow you to do that, that's completely okay. But what happens is when you attend a class synchronously, it's a lot easier to participate. And even if you have questions, you can just ask those in class itself. Now, I know everyone's different and some people prefer asking their questions one-on-one. But with synchronous classes, I've just noticed that even a lot of students will raise questions, which would honestly help you learn, and it'll be much more useful than just watching a pre-recorded session. Now, my last academic tip for you guys is extremely important, and it's that you should definitely make notes. Regardless of whether a class is asynchronous or synchronous, you should always take notes because you will realize how important note-taking is when your finals come by. And this was something that I had to learn the hard way. So for one of my classes, my professor would post pre-recorded videos, and I thought it was okay to not make notes because I thought I could use the presentation that the professor had put up, or I could just go by the pre-recorded videos later. But that is not the case. In reality, when you get closer to your finals, you will realize how many videos you actually have to get through, because unless you have incredible photographic memory. It's very difficult to actually remember every single thing your professor said. So regardless of whether you enjoy making notes or not, just always have a book with you or have the notes app open on your laptop, and just make sure you note down important points that your professors make, because they will definitely help you later. Now let's move on to the second category of tips that I have for you, which is social tips. First tip that I have for you guys, which is the most obvious, is to make time for your friends. A mistake I made in this area is that I thought making time for your friends means that you have to sit on long calls and you need to, be on call with them for an hour or 2 hours, and that is definitely not the case. I think in this case, what's the most important is just to stay in touch with your friends, because they will obviously keep you sane throughout the craziness of online school. So one thing I like to do is, even if I don't have time to call my friends, I will do these Snapchat daily updates where I will just send my friends a video talking about what's been happening throughout my day, what I've been up to, just stuff like that. And even sending the shortest of videos makes your friends feel so important, and it honestly keeps them updated about what is happening in your life. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you feel like you don't have the time to sit on calls, or if you don't enjoy texting people. The next thing I would say, and this applies to both your family and your friends, is maybe go for drives with your friends or do like game nights with your friends. I know two of my best friends, they do these game nights with their university friends where on a specific day of the week, each week, they have like this game night. And I honestly feel like that's such a good way to catch up with your friends, just relax a little bit. So I would recommend that. And also, going for drives is just so relaxing. But guys, with all of that being said, please, please, please make sure you follow social distancing rules. Please wear your mask at all times. Another tip I would give you, and this is specifically for people at your university, is that a lot of universities have these groups, either they're on Facebook or some other platform, and they basically either have students from your entire class, so your freshman class or your sophomore class, or they have people from one specific course. And I know my university has this Facebook group chat with like all of the students from one specific year. So they have this whole group for students from the class of 2024 and the class of 2023. And I honestly feel like that's a great way to get to know people at your university, especially if you're a freshman. It always helps to make new friends and just interact with people. Hi guys, so if you're wondering why this whole setup has changed, it is because my camera decided to delete half my footage and I had finished filming the entire video. But anyways, let's move on to the third category of tips, which is personal tips. So the main important piece of advice that I have for you guys with personal tips is that you should always have a routine. And this just helps you keep track of what you have to accomplish and what assignments you have to complete. But it also helps you set aside some time to relax and just do things that you enjoy. And this brings me to my next important tip, which is that you should always leave out time to relax and do things that you love. I know from experience that sometimes college can get very stressful and you might feel like you need to complete all of your assignments in one go. But I promise you, if you take a small break or if you set aside even a few hours to do something that you love, it's not the end of the world. So I would definitely recommend you guys to not only create a routine, but within your routine, set aside at least some time within the day for you to just relax and de-stress. Otherwise, college can get a little too intense. Take it from me. I would also encourage you guys to set aside some time to work out or just to do some form of exercise. And the reason for this is because when you're actually on campus, you walk around a lot or you just tend to move around a lot, and that just leads to some form of movement or exercise. But with most of us being stuck at home, that is obviously difficult to do. And so I would definitely recommend you guys to just do some form of exercise, whether it's doing basic stretches or even doing a workout challenge. And lastly, but definitely not the least, I would recommend you to have a planner. Now, that does not necessarily have to mean using a physical study planner. There are a lot of apps that are available which work as planners. There are also a lot of pre-installed apps on your phone. So for example, on the iPhone, you have reminders, which just allows you to set reminders for different assignments or things you need to do. And I would 100% recommend using either of those, because when you actually start getting a lot of your assignments and your test dates, it will end up being very difficult to keep track of all of them. And the last thing that you want is to forget a deadline and just forget to submit something. So definitely this is one of the most important ones. Keep track of all of your assignments, your deadlines, your tests, things you need to attend, because eventually it will just help you keep track of how your semester is going and what you have left to do. And yeah, that's all of the advice that I have for you guys today. I really hope it helped you guys, especially a lot of you freshmen that are starting university online. I know it might suck, but I hope this just helps you adjust better. And if any of my tips did help you guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any tips that I may have forgotten. If you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post videos every Tuesday. Stay safe and take care, everyone. Bye!